crime review. He know.
Nobody knows what you're all talking about.
Adamantly wrong, you know.
Take it easy, Senator. Take it easy.
I want to get the information from him because he always know. Corrected, Ragoobarsingh. Corrected.
I was wrong. It is the World Population Review.
Some of them recorder just now. Wait. But
I told him.
Progress.
Wait, Ragoobarsingh.
If you were listening, I said, so Paul was right then.
All right, gentlemen. Clyde is stuck on time, so let's get the results of our poll, and let's welcome Clyde Elder right after. So go ahead.
So our poll question was, the World Population Review ranks Trinidad and Tobago number 6 globally in crime. Do you think this is an accurate ranking? We had 13 people said yes, 8 people said no. So
yes, that's exactly the results I have.
And where did it come from?
The World Population Review as espoused by Senator
and
Cohen.
not the
World Crime Review.
As espoused by not Ragoobarsingh.
Ragoobarsingh.
Richard Ragoobarsingh. Morning, Mr. Elder.
My apologies, I was wrong. I didn't think it was World Population Review.
This is clearly very passionate to Paul, Richard. So
right, gentlemen,
we need to get into
Mr. Elder. I do not have a lot of time with Mr. Elder, so let's get into it.
Yeah, Mr. Elder, you're live on YouTube, so you can inform your cohorts that you're live on YouTube, so they could actually log on and look at us.
You can ask TSTT to stream it. If you're still employed there, I don't know.
We are still employed.
Right.
So congratulations are in order, Mr. Elder. You would have achieved a victory last night at the industrial court. Explain though, why not 478 workers? Why 376? What's happening there?
Sure. So pleasant moment to all of you gentlemen on this forum and to all of Trinidad and Tobago. Just in terms of understanding of what is happening, 468 employees of TSTT were retrenched yesterday. The union represents 376 of that number. So it represents junior staff and represents senior staff, which make up 376. 28 of that number is represented by the Estate Police Association, and the other 60 something represented by basically no one, whoever they choose to go to, because they are professionals and managers. So they are basically have their own terms and conditions, their own contract that they negotiate individually with the company, and they're not covered by any collective bargaining process. So that's why you will see that difference in the numbers, 468 in total, but 376 being represented by the CW.
So only the unionized workers were given the stay. The stay was applicable to them.
That is correct.
So we have to assume then that only 376 workers will in fact return to work today.
Well,
that the others,
of course,
the status quo will remain.
Pending any kind of action from EPA or anybody else on behalf of the other managers, or if they just choose to take the money and go home from today, well, then so be it. But okay. Right now, it's 376 who we have the stay of execution in place for.
Well, my quick question is, do you have any of the 376 who wish to take money and go home?
Of course. And we also have people who remain who wish they could be sent home to.
Sorry?
We also have people who remain in the company who wish they could be sent home to.
Right. No, but
Clyde, what's happening? Because it seems like, and I don't understand, because in 2018, there were how many workers were retrenched in 2018?
500.
500, right? So now, and then there was a strategic plan which said the company was moving forward with the workforce at that time. Now again, another restructuring. Now, yes, companies restructure from time to time, the economic environment changes. But what is happening at TSTT that so many people want to leave?
What is happening at TSTT, Paul, is that TSTT is so badly mismanaged. In fact, they borrowed $3.7 billion. And they said that was for new customer experience and to upgrade the infrastructure and what have you. And up to now, not even the staff could tell you what is so fundamentally different and improved that they say, well, okay, this $3.7 million makes me feel like I want to stay here. So we have been asking the question, what has happened to that $3.7 billion? Because if the customer's not feeling the change, if the workers not feeling the change, if the people who own the company not feeling the change, that's the government and cable and wireless, what has happened to that $3.7 billion? And the environment is so demotivated that people just want to leave because TSTT as it was before and the work environment I'm speaking about now, it is not the same thing that it is now. We had a manager in TSTT. Well, I'm not sure if she has been retrenched. I hope she has been retrenched. God forbid she's still there. But we had a manager in TSTT telling people how much times they could go to the bathroom, how much times they could spend when they go and eat, who they could talk to during the working hours, who they could go and mingle with during working hours, and all of that nonsense. So people are saying,
well, isn't that part of, and I understand the nuance you're talking about there, but it's just that part of performance management at some level? Because, at the end of the day, you have deliverables and you have productivity issues in any state.
Performance management and there's a difference between performance management and running a boot camp. When I joined the call just now, you and Richard and oh gosh, Wendell. Sorry, Wendell. My apologies.
That's all right.
You're all having a light moment. And you all were making joke about Mr. Ragoobarsingh and what have you. And you're having a light moment. And that is all part of having a healthy work environment. Now, had you done that with this manager in TSTT, you'd have gotten a warning letter saying that you're too noisy on the floor, saying this, saying that. You understand? No, it is not that the workers intend to be disruptive or noisy. They were just trying to have a nice, harmonious work
I understand what you're saying, but to be fair, sometimes even in our environment at work, we have to tell workers, well, it's a work environment and there's a certain behavioral expectation. So it is not unheard of in a work environment that there are some constraints to how people behave and how much they interact and how much time they take away from actually doing the work. So, and we know that is accurate in terms of HR management, performance management. I'm not saying you have to be a boot camp, but there are also some guidelines as to how workers must engage in the workplace.
It was a boot camp.
You're saying she has been unbending.
That is correct. It was a boot camp. Yes. But the point I'm making, gentlemen, that issue aside, is that the work environment in TSTT has become so demotivated that people want to leave. And then when they look at how government is treating TSTT, how the management is mismanaging TSTT, they tell themselves, look, listen, before this thing folds up and wraps up and next thing I get nothing, let me bust it now. That's how they're thinking because of how the company is being managed, because of the government's posturing, because of how government has been treating workers.
But haven't you been in discussions? The Minister of Public Utilities has been in the Senate several times talking about the ongoing discussions between the union, CW and TSTT. Have these issues come up in terms of trying to resolve these issues on behalf of unionized workers and also trying to engage in what could be a productive workforce and a more viable and sustainable company?
Well, all kinds of issues came up. All kinds of issues came up. We said to the company, look, there are persons who are close to retirement who will want to leave earlier than they are expected to leave. Why not allow them to leave and let the people who have some longevity in them still remain gainfully employed? There are some people who would like to leave, and even if you pay them the same formula on the retrenchment package, they will take it and go. Why not ask people, look, who wants to leave, and I'm only paying you what the retrenchment formula is. If you want that, you are free to leave. Why not ask people who want to do that and pay them and go? And if they do that, they will in fact get more than the required number that they're looking for. They refuse that. They said they have no money for that. Imagine you have no money to save money. I don't understand that concept, but that's what they answered and told us. So yes, there has been discussions with the company and the union. 2 meetings I want to add. One on February 1st, one on April 22nd. So if you call 2 meetings, discussions and consultation, yes, we had discussion and consultation. We had 2 meetings and we exchanged about 23 letters between us. So 2 meetings and 23 letters. And at the end of it, no matter what we said to TSTT, it was never a good enough suggestion for them. No matter what we told TSTT, it was never good enough because it was not their plan. It was not in their works. It was not the instruction of the government. So they refuted everything. They refused everything. And they pushed back on everything that we had to propose because they had this agenda from the government that they had to execute. Simple
but Clyde, according to the narrative from TSTT, they're saying that 468 people that they are retrenching is to help make them viable and competitive in a highly competitive market. What's your take on that? Because that's what they're saying.
Richard, did you not hear that same rhetoric in 2018 and 2019 when they sent to 500 workers? In fact,
yeah, you did.
The then Minister of Public Utilities, Robert Lehunt, is on record as saying he is satisfied that there was a need to not send home 500 people, but to save 1,000 jobs, and there's no need to send home anybody else. In fact, the company has turned the corner and they're now viable and profitable again, and they have now been able to look to the future. That's what he said.
Well,
the future is only
But
4
wait,
years.
how much? But Clyde, tell me something. What is the actual workforce number of TSTT at this point?
At this point is, well, with the retrenchment aside, before the retrenchment is about I think it's about 1,000.
But
this takes it down almost to 500 then.
This is about 500-600.
Yeah. I was just asking, a lot has changed since 2018. We would have had the pandemic step in that would probably have crippled them even more.
That is not true.
Well,
that is not true.
But what telecom company did do well in the pandemic?
During the pandemic, there's one company that survived, that was able to make money, is Telecom company. Because nobody could have gone anywhere to work, but you had to work from home. You needed to have internet access. You needed to have the ability to carry out your functions remotely. And TSTT boasted when the pandemic started. These are not my words. These are the words of the then CEO of TSTT. Boasted that there was a 40% increase in customer subscriber base. He boasted about that. So how does a 40% increase in customer subscriber base translate a 41% decline in your revenue?
Yeah. But wasn't there also stated, Clyde, that after the 2018 retrenchment exercise, TSTT, I think, posted a profit and was on the road to profitability, or was on the road to profitability? Correct. Wasn't that stated also?
That is correct.
So then how does, and you said something, a telecom company should do well in the pandemic. Well, I would add a caveat that a well-run telecom company. Because telecom companies form the backbone of our communication and interaction during the pandemic. Yeah. So, but Richard asked a question just now that was interesting. You have 1,000 workforce. How much was the workforce before 2018 retrenchment exercise?
Before 2018, it was about 1,600. Well, no, more than 1,600. It was about 1,800 to 2,000.
So 1,800, 500 went in 2018, and now 400 more are going. So basically, the workforce cut in half. Is it that they have innovative technology that's going to take the place of these workers to do the job, to provide the services? How is it being reconciled? What are those discussions that you had?
No, what they have is that they have all of the functions that they have now made redundant being transferred to Amplia. That's what they have. So they have a cheaper way to do the job because they have Amplia that is owned 100% by TSTT. Amplia staff is not unionized. Amplia staff is badly treated. Amplia staff doesn't have the kind of terms and conditions that the TSTT staff has. And they send home the TSTT workers and send the work to Amplia.
So are you suggesting that there's a strategic decision to minimize TSTT's telecom footprint and transfer those services to Amplia? That's what you're saying?
You've said that many times before.
Let me say it differently. In addition to what you just said there, Paul, there's a strategic decision to kill TSTT and the CW and to transfer everything to Amplia so that Amplia will be the company going forward.
Well, I was going to ask that. What is the impact of these retrenchments on the union?
Well, certainly, Paul, the retrenchment will be devastating on the union because we have TSTT as our main revenue stream at this point in time. And when you decimate that by about half of the amount that we have, then we're going to expect that half of the revenue getting from TSTT is what we're going to get now. So yes, it will have an impact on the union. Does the union die and fold up? The answer is no, because we also represent workers at Hilton, at RBP Lifts, at Caribbean Lifts, at PBS Technologies, and of course, anybody who has a matter that you need a union, you can come and join us and we represent you. I mean, we have employees from Power 102 who came by us and were successful in representation against Power 102 management. Yes? So we have avenues that, yes, we have areas that we remain open and viable. But of course, given that this is our mainstay, the idea is to destroy CW's mainstay and in the process, get rid of decent paying jobs.
But
You mentioned
but TSTT is owned 49% by CNW. Because I don't believe they have divested it as yet, because I know they also own Flow. But I don't think that they've divested their 49% shareholding in TSTT at this point. So how does that
conflict?
How does that figure into this equation? Because you have a private sector partner who seemed, for all intents and purposes, doesn't say anything.
Your competition.
So Richard, let me explain this part to you, right? When TAT gave Cable and Wireless the approval to buy Flow, what they said was, get out of the boardroom and sell off your 49% shares in 6 months. That was about 8 years ago. They still haven't sold the shares. You know what happened after that? TSTT deliberately showed and found ways to record a loss on their books. Let me give you one example. One example of that was when TSTT accelerated its depreciation. So you have plant and equipment that you'll depreciate over, let's say, 20 years, 15 years, or 25 years. If they had 15 years to go, they say, look, listen, let's depreciate everything this year. Let's accelerate the depreciation so that when we do that, we will show that we have made a loss on the books, so that we will not have to pay Cable and Wireless any more dividends based on profit. And that has been a systematic approach since then to now. It has not stopped. But the government of the day appoints 100% of the board of TSTT. So all this nonsense that they speak about, that they cannot instruct TSTT, that they cannot direct TSTT, that they cannot say to TSTT how to operate, that's nonsense. Because they appoint 100% of the board of TSTT. But there's a plan afoot to make TSTT look like it's not making money, to destroy the CW, to destroy that company, to get rid of Cable and Wireless by default in the process. So Cable and Wireless can give up their shares cheaply to whoever it is wants to buy the 49% plus whatever shares the government will want to sell off. So they destroy the company, and at the end of it, form a new company, or there's a new company already formed, that is going to cream off the profits now, just as happened with Petrotrade and Heritage. Now you see Heritage boast about profits and cream off the profits and say all is ours now. That's what the plan is.
What were your main points of argument in the court last night?
Our main points of argument in the court was very simple, Paul. The law says that workers have to be given 45 days notice, that the unions to be given notice, the unions to be given a notice that says certain things, and that was not followed. And we have said to the court that we want the company to obey the law. And until they obey the law, then they need to stop what they're doing and obey the law. And the court said, look, listen, well, we agree basically. That's what they said, that we agree with you. So they stopped the company from executing this retrenchment exercise. They set the next date of June 14 for hearing because TSTT begged to be heard. There's an ex parte injunction. And the court gave them a time to be heard, and that comes up on June 14. And the court said, until then, and until this matter is determined, you are not to engage in any retrenchment of the workers.
So the 45 days, explain to us how, because my understanding is many of the letters were effective June 1st, which is today.
Which is today.
And they were delivered yesterday by email or otherwise.
Yeah.
Did those letters include the 14 days notice?
45 days?
45 days, sorry. 45 days notice.
Well, Paul, if you got a letter yesterday and telling you going home today, then no way in that letter could there be a 45-day notice period. What they did is that they paid people 45 days in lieu of notice. But you see, the law doesn't make provision for that. What the law says is that the 45 days has a purpose, not just for the workers, but has a purpose for the union. And the purpose of the 45 days is if you have any objections, then you send and say to the company, look, I have objections to this because this thing wrong, this person could be fitting here, this person was retrenched but should not be retrenched, and all of those things that happens in the 45 days. We do not have that opportunity now if people are going home today.
Yeah.
And therefore the court said, let's protect the process, let's protect the law, let's protect the workers, let's protect the union, and let's ensure that good industrial practice is what triumphs overall.
So Clyde, were those workers actually paid for the 45 days when they received the letter?
Well, not at the point in time they received the letter, and later on in the day they got monies in their bank account.
So how is that to be resolved?
Well, it is that the company has already paid them for the next 45 days to come. But if there's no retrenchment, then they have gotten paid their wages for the next 45 days. And if the retrenchment, let's for argument's sake, let's decide let's say TSTT decide to issue proper notice of retrenchment now, then it means that they will have to issue a notice that gives 45 days notice. And therefore, they will still need to pay the workers maybe 10 days, 15 days beyond the 45 days that they have paid them.
Right.
But they have been paid for the next 45 days.
Right. Tell me something. You mentioned earlier on about a $3 billion loan that TSTT took. When was that loan taken? Was that taken after the 2018 round of retrenchment?
That was taken in 2018.
And what was the purpose of that loan at the point in time?
To restructure the company.
And that, so you're saying that money has been used and without any real effect?
Well, I'm saying I don't know what was used for, because if the customers are not feeling the difference of that $3.7 billion, if the workers are not feeling the difference of that $3.7, if the shareholders are not feeling the difference of that $3.7 billion, then who benefited from that $3.7 billion? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
And I'm asking the government to launch a forensic investigation into TSTT's affairs. We have been asking them since 2013 for the Beyonce concert, since 2010 for the Beyonce concert. We have been asking them to look at, from a forensic point of view, the affairs of TSTT. They have not done that.
What is the union's position? I understand also, in addition to the retrenchment notices, which have now been stated for unionized workers, there have also been some issues with attempted redeployments.
Yes.
And what is the status of those from the union's perspective?
So we have indicated to the company that we will not object to anybody being redeployed, because I will not object to somebody being remaining in gainful employment. How could I object to that? But our collective agreement says that people has a choice between being redeployed and being retrenched. So there are some people who will say, look, listen, I prefer to take my money and go home. And also that position you want to put me in, you can give somebody else it and pay me my money, let me go home. The collective agreement says that you have a choice. The company has said to us that, look, listen, even though the collective agreement says that, the act doesn't contemplate that, so we're not giving them no choice. We just tell them that they will deploy whether they like it or not. And that's unfortunate.
But doesn't redeployment consider one's qualifications and the appropriateness to be redeployed in that new position, that new possible position?
Well, consider a whole number of things, Paul. Not just your qualification, but what is the position that you come from and that you go into. So, for example, if it is you, Paul, let's say you are a sales agent, and they put you to do production. You don't know one thing about production, but they tell you being redeployed to production. But I don't know how this thing is produced. I don't know the first raw material to put in this production thing here. So what we are saying is that suitability and comparability must be a factor when redeploying people. And the company has not told us how they determine suitability and comparability. And we have asked them that, and they have not answered that effectively.
Well, this whole process just seems so demoralizing for workers. And I think consumers must now also be getting concerned, because TSTT has end users. You have users who still have landlines, which are now wireless. You have users who are on your mobile circuit for mobile phone use. And those customers may now be starting to get a little concerned, because the optics are bad from a public relations point of view. The mere idea you retrenching people in your company makes it seem as if your company is failing. And if you are failing, it means, have I hitched my horse to a wagon that ain't going nowhere?
Well, Richard, in addition to that, Richard, there's been some issues with the transfer to a new system. I know several people have been complaining about that. There had been an issue with the billing system that was down for like weeks, or malfunctioning, or some kind of craziness with it for weeks.
All they were hacked. All they were hacked.
Well, I don't know. I can't say that.
I'm telling you, they were hacked.
And it just wasn't working, and people couldn't pay their bills or couldn't access their bills. So a lot of these services weren't up to scratch for a lot of different reasons. I don't know. So with all these, I know, as Richard said, with this retrenchment and restructuring exercise, why should people have confidence that the company is viable moving forward, generally?
Well, Paul, let me say this. I just said that there was a $3.7 billion investment, and the customers are not feeling the difference in that $3.7 billion investment. I accept that TSTT has done a number of wrong things and mismanaged the company, but something that people don't know, which TSTT is not selling to the public, is that TSTT has the most robust telecommunications infrastructure in the company. It is more robust than the decels. It is more robust than flows. It is more robust than any other player in the market. But because it's so badly mismanaged, you will feel and you will assume or presume that TSTT doesn't have the resources or the infrastructure or the capability or the equipment or the staff or the know-how or the expertise to give you proper service. That is not true. It is so badly mismanaged that you get that perception, and that is deliberate. TSTT has the best infrastructure in this country to provide the highest level of service to our customers, and they are not doing that. We have complained about that. We have asked them to scrap that Ericsson order care system that they introduced that's caused so much problem in billing and in them collecting revenue. They have refused to do that. So yes, customers are feeling concerned, and they need to be concerned. But at the end of the day, it is deliberate to make the customers feel that way. And what they're also doing is at the same time saying to customers, well, you could go across to Amplia. What does that tell you?
Well, but is it clearly a decision that's been made, and I guess they have the right to do that strategically, to say, well, we bought this company called Amplia, and we are restructuring the overall asset base to maximize X and do X with Y. But I don't understand in a pandemic when every well-run digital entity in the world has seen significant growth, why a company that's indigenous like TSTT, that has such a history, that people have an affinity to because it's local, you understand? It's of us, seems to be in so much turmoil and not able to maximize this kind of cyber time, this time of internet time.
But Clyde, in your opinion, has TSTT been overstaffed?
No, it's understaffed. It's not overstaffed, it's understaffed. In fact, what's going to happen now, Wendell, is that there's going to be the same amount of work, if not more work, for less staff to do. That's what's going to happen.
But if you're saying they're shunting customers over to Amplia, maybe they have less work to do.
But Amplia is still part of TSTT, isn't it?
No, but remember that the infrastructure belongs to TSTT. So there's still work to do in terms of maintenance of the infrastructure. There's still work to do.
We should open the phone lines when that's suggested. You willing to take some calls, Clyde?
I need to leave. I don't mind taking calls, but I need to leave because I do have to take my wife.
Let me take 3 calls now. Some of the listeners have questions that we don't have. So we'll open the phone lines.
All right, so quickly, let's grab a couple of calls. You know the number is 222-8255-6, 128255, and those in North America, 866-525-1099. Paula is asking me here, Clyde, what's going on with the ex-telco workers' pension dollars?
That's a very good question. It's also something that's a burning issue for us because the telco pension plan has over $1 billion in surplus, and their pensioners receiving $600 and $800 as a pension. That is wrong. We have said to TSTT, look, make sure everybody minimum pension is $3,000. They said yes, we'll do all those things they asked for, but we don't want to ask for any more money from the surplus again. I said, well, you'll be mad. I want me to sign to that. I said, not signing that. You'll be mad. So we do have issues as well with the pensioners, as well as for people who were retrenched in 2018. They are still being owed money by TSTT, you know. Right now, they still have not received all the money that they're entitled to. So we have a number of issues. And I just want to add this, gentlemen. Come Friday, this Friday coming from 10 a.m., we want to demonstrate through the streets of Port of Spain, send that message to the government, especially government and the company, that we are not pleased, we are not happy, and they need to reverse their decision and thinking when it comes to TSTT. So Friday, a march through the streets of Port of Spain, starting at TSTT, Henry Street, and we end at Parliament. All are welcome. Retirees, retrench, anybody.
Did you seek permission?
One of the ways,
yes, we did, Paul. Yes, we did. To answer you, Paul, yes, we did.
All right, we have a call here.
You can start saving money and stop that billing process, wasting paper and envelopes every month. Because the bills come way after the bill is due.
That is true. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I have a question because I have some family members who are going through this. I have some. So what I would like to know what Mr. Elder has to say reference this. What about the employees that wants to leave? And because I have 2 family members who work CSTT that was looking forward to this retrenchment so they could go. So now this injunction has spoiled their plans. What about them?
No, it hasn't.
I'm sure there are a lot more people in the 500 who was willing to go.
Yes, and
Right.
for you listening, you would have heard when I said that we had said to the company, why not find out people who are willing to go and allow them to leave? That was a suggestion we put on the table to the company, and the company said, no, we can't do that. And this retrenchment that we have gone to court and got an injunction against, I want people to understand that we are not saying that people should not accept their package and go their way, given that opportunity. We are saying that the law has been breached, and until the law is observed, the company must be restrained, and we have to do that to protect the law and ourselves. We have no choice in that matter. But people may say, but the union stopped me from going home. I want to go home. Well, if you want to go home, you're free to go home, But we are saying that if it is you are going home under retrenchment, that there's a law the company needs to follow, and they have not followed the law, simply put.
Yeah. Which the court agreed with, at least provisionally.
Which the court agreed with us.
Yeah, I don't see why the court would not have agreed with you all because of how they did that. You can't tell people today you're not working from tomorrow. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Except you're fired for cause, and retrenchment is not a dismissal for cause.
That was stretching it, and even TSTT may have known that they could not possibly have succeeded with something like that.
But don't they have legal
counsel? So let me take the two more calls quickly before I.
Yeah, so we grab a couple of calls again. We have a limited time again with Clyde Elder. 222-8255, 612-8255, toll-free North Americans. You can weigh in.
Those employees
525-1099.
They are back on the job, because I understand some people were locked out of their emails, etc., etc. So what's going to happen with those things?
Yes, so people were locked out of the email yesterday afternoon. I understand that that they were given should I say a blight, in that they have not been able to access the emails once again. I'm not sure for how long, but I got complaints yesterday afternoon that they could not access it, and last night when I followed up, they could have been able to access the emails. That's one. Two, the court has instructed and has ordered that workers report for work today, and we have indicated to and the court has said, look, listen, people may not want to return in that traumatic environment. So the court has also said, notwithstanding that we have indicated that they return for work to work today, the union is to provide a list to the company of persons who don't mind coming out to work and persons who don't want to come to work, at least until the matter is determined. So today we have asked our members to let us know those who want to come to work and those who don't want to come to work, so we can inform the company accordingly. Because at the end of the day, Paul, there are people who will be paid certain allowances because they would have reported for work and performed certain duties. Yes, and they may say, look, listen, you see me, I want to get all the money I can get before I get retrenched, so I want to go to work and get those allowances before. Well, some may say, you see me,
but it's a generally traumatizing situation, so it's not that people who have feelings, and this is their workplace and their livelihood, so there's a psychological effect on them.
So the court has said that they cannot be forced or compelled to either stay home or to go to work. Whichever choice they have, respect their choice.
Well, they must be totally demotivated. Well, I don't know if Steve has a call. I know you have to go. We appreciate you, Steve. Take a couple calls.
I do have one more call here. It's been on for a while. Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning.
Yeah, Mr. Patrick, morning.
Morning. I heard that workers know they was going home. I heard some workers say they know they was going home. And some workers was willing to go home and sign the contract and leave to go home, get the money, and go across some player. So now the union come and block that, they say. Because some workers wanted to go across, but had to leave the company.
How do you respond to that?
All right. Thank you.
But I think he already did.
I've already responded to that issue of people who want to go and don't want to go. I responded to that already. I want to just repeat that the union had asked the company to allow people who want to leave, even if it is only via the retrenchment formula, even if you don't want to enhance the package. Advertise to people that, look, listen, put up your hand who want to go via retrenchment formula, and you will get the numbers you want and more. We also said to the company, there are people who are close to retirement. You know what the company did? The company created positions to hold those people in, just so that they won't have to pay them retrenchment. So that when they retire in 6 months or 10 months or 1 year, the job goes with them. We said to the company, why are you doing that? Why not pay those people There are months to go. It may be 6 months, it may be 5 months, it may be 12 months. That is cheaper than paying somebody 20 months, 24 months, 30 months, 36 months. Why not allow those people to remain and pay those people who are close to retirement the money that they have to go, which is less money, and you get longevity in the company? Why not do that? The company said we don't have money to do that. So they don't have money to save money. So we are not stopping people from going home. I want to get that clear. We are ensuring that the law is obeyed. That's all. That is all.
Question: is it that player workers are forbidden from joining the union?
They are not. They were told that by the company. We have reached out to them, and they told us that the management told them that if they only find out they join the union, they will fire them, and they are afraid to join the union.
But it's not against the
player
law.
Workers are free to join the union.
If that is true, it's not against the law. Anybody has a right to join in the union they want to.
It is. But Paul, if you are the manager and you tell Richard, Richard, that look, listen, if you go and join the union, I'll fire you. Richard frightened for your work. Richard had come in on no affidavit and say that Paul tell me that. No. Paul not even going to admit that he tell Richard that.
Well, Richard is the wrong example. Richard is rather rebellious. So Richard will actually challenge you. Maybe Wendell will take it.
Yeah, Wendell is who you should tell. I got to spread it through the world.
Clyde, thanks for being with us this morning.
But gentlemen, I really need to leave. I really need to leave. Yes, sure.
Clyde, thank you so much for being on the topic with Power Digital. Thank you so much. All the best and be safe. All right.
I actually have employed with me someone who was retrenched from TSTT in 2018.
I have family members who were employed with TSTT, but I think they left in 2018.
Yeah.
But you have to keep asking yourself, I mean, and then yes, the economic environment changes, and it has changed significantly, but in many cases, telecom companies have benefited from the pandemic. In most cases, well-run telecom companies have capitalized on the fact that we went so much into a digital space, and we remain so much in a digital space more than we were before the pandemic. Banking services, all kind of services, food delivery services, and yes, TSTT and their main competitor, Digicel, have capitalized. So I do understand the...
Well, it's not just Digicel as their competitor. You also have
Flow. Yeah, Flow.
Flow competes too.
Yeah.
Because they provide landline services
and internet services.
And internet.
But on your competitiveness.
Yeah, and how do you and to me, in that field, that telecommunications field, the more innovative you are, is the more you are likely to retain customers. And because we get the raw end of the stick in that. Because we are in a small space, it means our access to broadband is still relatively pricey, especially the higher up in speeds you go. So whereas Americans can enjoy 1 gigabit of speed coming to households at a relatively low price, we don't. In fact, the only provider that I know provides 1 gigabit of speed is actually Amplia. Digicel does not give you that access, and Flow doesn't give you that access, as far as I'm aware. And the issue of 5G, for example, which TSTT launched in 2018, never took place. If they used innovation more in terms of products and services.
Innovation, yes, Richard, but you see, there still needs to be an understanding that a standard of service needs to be maintained, and TSTT has not been able to do that. And that's part of the problem. Bad service, innovation can't fix bad service at a basic level. If you don't know what your billing is, your billing issues, if you transfer to a new landline system, which many people didn't want to do, that's not working, you're going to have negative fallout from that from your customer base. And that's...
one of the things...
But all that is part of management, Paul, because...
I know, but you said innovation is innovation in addition to that.
Well, it's innovation plus buy-in of your customer base, and how you manage that buy-in of your customer base as you move to a new system, even if they're going to be teething problems.
You know what you've always heard about TSTT, and which is why I asked Mr. Elder the question earlier on, is it that they're overstaffed? You've always heard that TSTT has been overstaffed and overpaid. I don't know how true it is, but that's something that you've always heard. That they're overstaffed and overpaid.
Well, overstaffed and overpaid will always be in the context of, one, how much the company is making, their revenue, You understand? And not the revenue expenditure, in other words, profitability. And two, overstaff is the context of what services you have to supply to what customer base.
Yeah.
And what solutions you are introducing in terms of technology to supply those services. So it's always in the context of that. So unless we know what the customer base is, if it's growing, if it's shrinking, if they have innovative solutions to supply these services, and what their expenditure versus revenues in terms of profitability, we'll never know.
Yeah.
We just
because
talking in space.
You got the impression somewhere along the line there was a management decision to move away from the actual TSTT outlet into these smaller little kiosks.
Even that was a disaster.
Yeah.
Even that was a disaster.
But
that was so poorly managed.
But there were people high up in TSTT who were involved in that.
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with transitioning from all these brick and mortar because you're having digital solutions to pay your bills and subletting the kiosks across the malls and stuff. But it was badly done.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
People didn't know what service they could get where. They didn't know this offering service. When you see green, no, we don't take bills here, No, the system down now. It was so badly managed. And then I told Richard, it's not only about innovation, it's about the standard of service that you offer and maintaining that.
Yeah.
And there have been so many missteps along the way.
I still get a bill every month from TSTT for my mobile line.
And you're right. This set up paper bill for what?
A month after I paid.
Yeah.
I just as I get the envelope now, I tear it and I put it in the bin. I don't even bother to open it because a bill that would have been paid long.
Yeah. But even the billing has problems because I've been paying a bill religiously all the time, and then 1 minute the phone is cut. Why is the phone cut? Because you didn't pay the bill.
Yeah.
And I sent all the paperwork
if you
across.
can't get billings right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And they've not gotten it right for a long time.
Yeah.
But they changed the system and it got worse.
Yeah.
It shut
Billing
down
is a
for weeks.
problem. Yeah.
So, I mean, wow.
I've had that problem.
Yeah.
And then you have a very aggressive, very technology-driven main competitor and other competitor. You understand?
Yeah.
Who offering the world for little and have very efficient systems and services.
Yeah.
Even when I was traveling and I decided to roam with one phone, and it was a B mobile phone, and I said, okay, I want to roam and blah blah blah. It was never activated. So I traveled and I'm roaming and I get one massive bill.
Yep. I remember that. I learned my lesson after that.
Yeah, I learned my lesson after that. Since then, forget it. Forget it.
I say, I open a whole new branch at TSTT with my bill.
Yeah, no,
I pay off somebody's severance with my bill.
That could have been the actual plan. Maybe that was the plan when those people went out of the country. So.
But the plan really is to use your data. The data is what is costly when you roam. That is where the money is.
Buy a cheap phone from Verizon when you travel and use that.
Yeah, that's it.
It's much easier.
I found out that the data
cheaper.
really had nothing to do with you receiving or making phone calls. It was about all the
apps running in the background
that coming through.
Yep. Turn off your roaming.
Yeah.
But Paul, you're absolutely right, because you could go and buy a prepaid phone.
Buy a $40 phone.
And you can
have
go
unlimited
bring it
data,
home.
Unlimited Wi-Fi. And all them you understand?
What you could do, you could bring it back here, and online you could top up of $5 every month. And when you travel, you have a phone.
Much cheaper and safer.
Yeah.
Especially for somebody like Wendell who needs to contact his service providers.
Yeah.
When he travels.
I need to stop traveling with my phones. That's what I need to do. But then because of the business,
your phone is a security blanket too, because
because of the businesses and so on, I don't have a choice.
Oh, never a dull moment. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know how a telecom company could not be doing well now.
What you see this? This is a bill.
A waste of money.
That's never been open. Are you seeing it clearly?
Yes, I have piles that you open because you pay any bill.
And what?
Yeah, and they just stop that as a waste of money.
I could safely do that.
But Wendell, somebody got a contract to do it.
Exactly. This wanton waste of paper and envelopes.
Somebody got a contract to do it. Somebody got a paper contract, somebody got a printing contract.
It's like the liver, and I'm not leave that prisoner thing alone. I was going
I
to
hear,
say it's like the liver
I hear the
prisoners
preferred, I
are
hear,
caught next door.
but yes, they're supposed to ask that. I hear the preferred security company in the country is supposed to get the TSTT contract too. You know the preferred
Preferred what
security
company? The preferred what
security
company?
company in the country.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The state's preferred security company.
To get TSTT contract to do what?
Security.
For TSTT?
So I hear, I can't confirm it.
Oh. I thought TSTT had their own security.
But the NC part of the security is part of who were proposed to be retrenched.
Yeah.
So that X and Y could move in and get another contract.
Oh,
Oops, sorry,
goodness,
what I'm
no.
saying.
No, that's just rumor. That has to be a rumor. That can't be true. If that, they might as well form a political party.
Why form one when you have one?
All right, let's get into our news brief,
And
gentlemen.
have all.
If he is in, let's get into our news brief, all powered by Champion Services.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Communication Workers Union leader Clyde Elder believes a more democratic approach should be